It's been a little while since I've used a ZTE flagship device. I have the latest one in hand and it does feel like the culture has changed a little bit, but in some very good ways. This is Pocketnow and I'm Joshua Vergara. What's going on, everybody? These are my first thoughts, first impressions on the ZTE Axon 11. Now, quick disclaimer, the ZTE Axon 11 is on its way out in certain markets in Europe, and also this unit is from Mexico. So you're going to be getting my first impression so far. I've had the phone for a small number of days. I still want to give it a little bit more time for my final review, but since the phone is coming out now, we wanted to make sure to bring you a few thoughts. The first thing has to do with the design, and I know this phone may not look radically different from plenty of other flagships that we've seen over the last couple of years, but there's still a refreshing quality to it. Mainly that the handling is so good. There is a curve on the back, and the screen itself, which I'll get to more later, has a curve as well, but that means that this phone is incredibly thin, and considering a couple of the specifications for this phone, that is actually quite the feat. Focusing on just what is around the frame, however, you'll notice there's no headphone jack, and there's a single speaker on the bottom next to that USB Type-C port. The camera hump does not come out a whole lot, but there are 4 lenses in there, and it still gives off those Arnold Schwarzenegger bazooka vibes. One small flourish of color for this white edition of the phone is this red power button right over here. The screen comes in at just below 6.5 inches. It's a full HD plus panel and it's an AMOLED display, which means that you actually get some pretty cool features like an always-on display, which can be customized with a number of different types of clocks. So far, the screen has been really enjoyable to use, and since this is a unit from Mexico from a carrier called Telcel, this particular unit, it already had a built-in colorful background wallpaper here, and you know what? I left it on there because honestly, it makes this AMOLED screen look pretty dope. So we can get into the software and thus some of the internals. First of all, this version of Android from ZTE is actually pretty minimal. ZTE haven't really injected a ton of extra features and applications on here, even though of course the carrier had done that themselves. But ultimately the daily experience on here is going to be very reliable and smooth. And that is something I want to really highlight because the processor on here is the MediaTek Helio P70. Yep, you heard that right, the P70. It is an older processor, and ZTE made it very clear that they made the choice to go to that processor to cut the price down as much as possible. So what does that mean for certain applications like, let's say, gaming? Well, you aren't going to be turning on all of the max settings in terms of games like Call of Duty Mobile, but ultimately it's going to have a longer load time, but once you get in, it should be a pretty smooth experience. I mean, every Android game should pretty much work on every Android device these days. So even if it might not be the snappiest experience, that is only something you'll really feel when you compare this to other flagships. There are other amenities on here also that you would expect from a flagship, like an in-display fingerprint reader, and honestly my favorite thing so far, which is its face unlock. The reason why is because ZTE's face unlock on here is really fast, gets right into the operating system. Oh, and also you get a 4,000 milliamp hour battery on here, which again I feel like is a bit of a feat considering how thin the phone is. Unfortunately, no wireless charging on here. You'll be relying on the USB Type-C port down here for some fast charging. So even if the spec sheet might not have been overly exciting, I find that this phone is still proving itself as a good general everyday device. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that this version of the phone is a 4G edition. There will be multiple versions of the Axon 11, just like with previous more recent flagship lines from ZTE. There is a 5G edition that is going to go out with a Snapdragon processor, so the experience on that phone is going to be in some ways different from this. And one of those places is going to be in the camera. Now, the reason why I bring it up that way is because the Helio P70 doesn't quite afford the Axon 11 some of the features you might expect from flagship camera phones. Now again, this is my first impressions on the camera, so let's go through the specs real quick. The first thing is that the front-facing camera is a 20 megapixel shooter that does a pretty good job for selfies and also that portrait mode. There's also a very strong beauty mode on here. Getting to the rear cameras, the main sensor is the main story here. As with most of these multi-camera phones, you have a 48 megapixel sensor on here that also has an 8 megapixel ultra-wide, a 2 megapixel depth sensor, and then a 2 megapixel macro lens. I will go into a little bit of detail about that macro lens only because the results that I got were a little bit interesting. See, with the main sensor, you can actually get pretty close to a subject already. There's plenty of bokeh as well, as the aperture allows for a pretty fine field of focus. But then you get to the macro mode and it's virtually the same distance away. I'm not too sure if this one was tuned perfectly well. Let's see if that actually changes with perhaps some software updates coming up. The ultra-wide is nice to have, though there is a bit of distortion over on the sides, which you expect from an ultra-wide, but I do notice it a little bit more on this phone than on others. And then finally, the pictures from the main sensor are actually not all that bad. You also have the ability to go full on with the 48 megapixel size. That way you can get some really high resolution photos. But again, these are just the pictures that I took with the phone so far. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now, I mentioned that the Helio P70 doesn't quite afford this phone as many features as other processors that we've seen since 2019. One of those things is 4K video recording. You'll notice inside of the settings that it can go just up to 1080p. So if you're looking at this phone as a good video recorder, it's probably not going to give you all of the features that you would desire. So the reason why this phone is so interesting to me is because we're looking at the next Axon phone. ZTE's Axon line is their flagship, of course, but with the climate right now of mid-range and more affordable phones becoming more and more popular, it seems like ZTE went ahead and just went for it. Choices like putting in an old MediaTek processor and also having a camera spec that might not even get close to some of the flagships we've seen mean that ZTE set a price and really wanted to keep it. And you know what? In Europe, because that's the price that I have to give you right now, this is 349 euros. That is a really good price for what is a company's flagship phone. And yes, there are going to be other versions of this phone which might go higher in the spec sheet, but if I'm looking at just this one right now, I have to commend ZTE for actually achieving a good, smooth, reliable, everyday experience when it comes to Android in a phone that is cheaper than other phones that try to do the same thing. And that's because all of the other OEMs try to prioritize different parts of the phone and what corners they can cut. In the case of ZTE, they have done it unabashedly. And it's because of that that in Europe, a price of 349 euros is pretty compelling. So you might need to figure out what your real priorities are when it comes to a phone like this. But as of right now, out in Germany and Mexico, you actually have a pretty good choice if what you want to do most is save a little bit of money. So clearly I had a ton of thoughts to share in my first impressions of the ZTE Axon 11, but all of these thoughts just kept flooding into my brain, especially since the spec sheet when I first saw it, it was already thought-provoking. So far, if you're just looking for a good phone that does Android pretty well, that's what you're getting here. But let's see if $349 ultimately gets you a good camera experience as I dive a little bit more into that for my final review. Get into the comment sections down below and let me know what you think of the ZTE Axon 11. At the very least, drop some likes on this video, and if you're new here, consider subscribing to the Pocketnow channel. We have videos coming out pretty much every single day. And with all of that said, I will call it on this one, and we will see you in our next video.